This is the knockout artist, Chris Hero. And if you're looking for some true heel heat, you better listen to them boys.
Hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube and Facebook for our NJPW Battle in the Valley preview. We are here to discuss the big show from San Jose, California tomorrow night. It's got big matches, some careers on the line, championships up for grabs, legacies up for grabs, and we're here to discuss it all. I am here, as per usual, talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling with the master of ceremonies when it comes to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, when it comes to all things New Japan. His name is Jay News.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back at it again here on True Heel Heat, previewing this Battle in the Valley event. SP3, we do have a special guest here with us today. Please, without further ado, I don't matter. Come on.
Back by popular demand, because we vibed so well during our Wrestle Kingdom 17 review here on the channel. You hear her over on her own channel as well. She's been on Wrestle Talk, and she is now my co-host over on WrestleInn for Ace Tekkers, the one, the only Sonal. What's going on? Welcome back.
Thank you for having me. Honestly, I love chatting to you guys about wrestling. And when you messaged me and you were like, do you want to come on? I was like, yes, please. There's nothing I would love. Like, it's the best thing, especially with what we're talking about today with the big show coming up. So much to discuss.
And like I have to figure out like different ways to get you on, because I don't want to take away from what we do over at WrestleInn. So I was like, we kind of already did predictions for the show on our last edition of Ace Tekkers, but a lot has changed. So especially after yesterday, I was like, I gotta call Sonal, see if she's available so she can come on and talk about this, because we have a huge card coming up in San Jose, California. In my opinion, I don't know about y'all. I'll get y'all opinion. I think this is like the biggest New Japan show in the United States that they've done, just based on hype, buzz, the matches that are going to be on this show. What do you think, Sonal?
I mean, like you said, as soon as I think the match, obviously the match talk about the women's match was announced, it was already huge.
Yeah.
Then you had the announcement at the Osaka show, and then you had the announcement last night. It just feels like this is now become one of the staple shows of the year, because I know that New Japan Strong is changing their approach, and I feel like this is the great way to start their sort of new journey with that brand and to help it grow in like possibly the most iconic way possible.
Absolutely. I know last year they had Buddy Matthews versus Kazuchika Okada, which was a huge matchup on Battle in the Valley, the first edition, but this one has to be considered like the bigger Battle in the Valley, and like I said, one of the biggest shows New Japan has ever done in the United States, which says a lot, because they've done, we were at G1 Supercard a couple of years back, J News. We were at, a lot of people went to Dallas for the G1 Climax when it was in the United States, but where do you think that this is one of the biggest shows that New Japan has had in the United States, J News?
For sure. I think that to Sonal's point, being that the structure is changing with Strong, this is going to be the first show of how everything is going to be going forward. So definitely a bigger show here in the U.S. Hopefully it works out for the best, and we see some good wrestling. And I'll leave the rest of the show's quirks and decision making up to the rest of the show.
Yes, and we of course want to welcome everyone to the show. We're interactive here, so sound off in the live chat. We'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible as we go along here. Of course, if you want to show your support to the channel, the contributors, super chat donations is the best way to do that. It helps the channel grow. It helps us to do more live streams and previews just like this one for New Japan Pro Wrestling's Battle in the Valley. And of course, it makes sure that we highlight your comment on screen. We got Sleeping Angels who says this should be a good pay-per-view. Hopefully, he also agrees with us saying that this is one of the biggest shows New Japan has done in the United States. We got Romeo in the chat. Happy to see Sonal. We got Bala B who says, "Ha, Bay, Jay can lie. He can lie. He can keep telling people he's done it all, but he hasn't done it all. He hasn't done the most important thing. He hasn't won the main event of the Tokyo Dome." So he's putting it out there.
Fair comment. That is a fair comment because everyone says that they think he's leaving because what else does he have to do? He's won all the titles. He's done that, but he's actually not really because he's not won a G1, has he?
I was gonna say that. I was
or
like,
a New Japan Cup or like any big tournament.
Yeah, that's the one thing kind of left off his like he said, he doesn't have a lot of boxes unchecked, but winning the main event of the Tokyo Dome, winning the G1, winning the New Japan Cup, there are things for him to do, but can't really do it after Osaka and not being able to go back to Japan. But we shall see. Maybe there's a way to go around it. Maybe the stipulation that they added is just to tease people. Like Sonal's a huge Jay White fan, like myself and Jay News, who are honorary Bullet Club members. We get our checks in the mail from Switchblade, so we want the checks to keep coming, even though the check might get bigger if he goes to another place. But yeah, let's talk about the show from bottom to the top. We're going to start with the pre-show matches, and these are pretty big pre-show matches as well on this Battle in the Valley card. Of course, everyone, remember, drop the thumbs up on the video, share it with your friends. If you're watching on demand, let us know in the comments down below your predictions and sound off in the live chat with your predictions as well. But let's start off with the first match that's going to be on the pre-show. This is very big for New Japan Strong fans because this rivalry has been going on for well over a year. You have Alex Coughlin going one-on-one with JR Kratos. Their matches have been like the build to how strong Coughlin is. He's able to lift someone the size of JR Kratos. They've been going back and forth. They have had two previous matches where it's 1-1. So this is the real rubber match here. JR Kratos, so talented. You've seen him in New Japan Strong, seen him on NWA. He has a bunch of agility for a guy his size as well. Sonal, who you got in this one?
Right, so don't hate me. I don't really watch Strong. I have not watched Strong for, I think, since like the first episode. However, I am aware of both of the guys. And I think personally, this is like a huge thing because, especially because obviously everyone knows I love a good young lion. And Alex Coughlin has grown hugely since he first made his debut. And I feel like, yes, although it's only a pre-show and it's the first match, I think and I hope, just because I want to see this growth with the now graduated young lions. I think Alex Coughlin can do it. And also, story-wise, Alex Coughlin, I can see him more in Japan as well. So I feel like to really push his story, we can't have him lose in a first match because basically that's just going back to his young lion days.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. And he's improved so much. Like when I knew him as a young lion, but when I started seeing him on the blood sport shows for GCW, that's when I was like, man, this guy is so talented. I think he had one I want to say against JR Kratos in Bloodsport. I've just seen his strength just improve and improve. He's improved in the ring, improved in a couple of other aspects. What about you, J News? Who you got, Coughlin or Kratos?
I mean, I did watch probably the first 20 some odd episodes of Strong. I was on the Strong bandwagon until I fell off that thing completely.
You even told us you were gonna do reviews over on Patreon, and you
never got around to it, brother. It was just too much, man.
I mean, well done for at least watching that many. I said I was gonna watch every single one of them. I think I lasted longer than AEW, but I didn't last very long.
It was rough after a while. So You know, I didn't know if I was watching NWA, and I didn't know if I was watching Strong. I didn't know if I was watching a Mid South show back in the early '90s. I didn't know what I was watching, but at the end of the day, to piggyback off of what Sonal was saying, I think due to his journey through the LA dojo and what he's been able to accomplish in the last couple of months, being on bigger shows, being on the Japanese shows, I think New Japan wanting to push him further. I give the big win to Mr. Coughlin here. I don't know if they call him the android or whatever the case. I forget what the moniker is.
I think that is his moniker, the android. Yeah.
So we'll hopefully we'll see him suplex or power slam JR Kratos at some point, you know, the big Hulk Hogan spot with Andre. And so hopefully we see that. And yeah, man, big win for the first match in the show. Should go to an LA Dojo original for the Strong session. So hopefully that takes place there. That's my prediction on that match.
A big week for the LA Dojo graduates. You got Coughlin with this big blow off with JR Kratos. We got Clark Connors in a big match on this show. You had Carl Fredericks gonna make his NXT Level Up debut too tonight.
Oh, that honestly hurt. Like, I don't think I've watched WWE in like years, but like Carl Fredericks was one of my favorite young lions. So I as soon as he announced it, I went on Twitter. I went, you know what? I might have to start watching NXT again just to see. And who knows if a future match impacts another possible WWE signing, then I might have to start watching it full time again.
We want to see the Sonal content of WWE on her channel.
Oh, that would definitely be like very confusing to myself and to everyone who's watching. They're like, why is there suddenly this influx of WWE content? It's all Carl Fredericks' fault if that happens.
Sonal will be the only creator doing Level Up reviews. For Carl Fredericks only. If Carl Fredericks is on it, like people gonna be like, I came last week. You didn't do an episode. Carl Fredericks wasn't on the episode.
Sorry, you're gonna have to do New Japan. You expected WWE. Well, they didn't put Carl Fredericks on the card, so that's not my fault.
Not your fault at all. So then we got also on the pre-show here a former young lion in David Finlay going one-on-one with Where's the Lie? Bobby Fish. These two men have met before. Bobby Fish, of course, had a stint in New Japan Pro Wrestling when him and Kyle O'Reilly were tearing it up in the junior heavyweight division as Red Dragon, and he was 2-0 against David Finlay, but this was back when David Finlay was a young lion. David Finlay's improved so much. 2022 felt like a breakout year for him, even though after his loss against Zack Sabre Jr. In the NJPW World Television Tournament, we haven't seen much from him. So this is his big return back for New Japan. And is it going to start a bigger year in 2023 for him? Jay News, who you got?
Well, first of all, I got to mention this. I feel like for those people who watch Premier League soccer out there, I feel like David Finlay got relegated to freaking Strong. Like this to me, 2023 should be a bigger year for David Finlay. And then after the 2022 that he had, he disappeared off the face of the planet because not many of us watch Strong. So for whatever this is, this match that he's got going on with Bobby Fish, Mr. Fish has been off and on with his MMA stuff. Obviously, he had his deal with AEW. I don't necessarily know what he's doing now. Where is he at? Where is he going? Be it that David Finlay is the New Japan guy in this match, I think David Finlay gets the win here. That is my default for this particular matchup. What about you, Sonal? What do you think about this whole deal?
I mean, I'm the same. So if anyone who follows me, they'll know that Finlay, his feud with Jay was one of the reasons that I continued watching New Japan to the extent that I did. So obviously, the last few years have been very frustrating, as any David Finlay fan will know, that he seems to it's a bit like Sonata. He goes up, then just to, as you say, to get relegated.
You're talking to the #1 Sonata fan here in J News. J News, he's the leader of the bandwagon for Sonata, like you are for Switchblade and David Finlay.
I feel like everyone who is a fan of the Underdog, you're always like a Finlay and a Sonata fan, because together they just have such a parallel career. And I feel like I love Bobby Fish. He's amazing. His time in New Japan was iconic. But I agree, like Finlay Finlay is the main New Japan guy. You can't have him on a big show like this and expect him to lose, because that basically means New Japan are saying we don't have anything for Finlay this year. Don't expect big things for him. But if my predictions and if New Japan can think inside my brain, if Finlay does lose, maybe in a later match, I don't know, between a former best friend / young lion who has his career on the line, I don't know. Could a loss here maybe help towards something there?
Interesting.
Bring them together.
Interesting.
I've been hearing Sonal, you know, on our last edition of Ace Tekkers, she brought it up that we're gonna get to the person she's alluding to in a little bit here, but that is a good angle to go about this. As far as the first match, I got Coughlin in that one. If I didn't mention that, in this one, I do agree with you. David Finlay needs this win. Bobby Fish, although he's very talented, I don't think that he is like a long-term guy for even New Japan Strong or what they're doing in the United States. So this seems like, you know, with the story going in of David Finlay never being able to get a win over Bobby Fish, I think this win here should propel him to maybe getting into the Strong open weight championship division, or maybe the television title if he makes his way over back to Japan. So I'm hoping David Finlay, because man, September, we were talking about it, J News, when we did the Burning Spirit review. That match with Will Ospreay for the IWGP United States Championship, that felt like his breakout match. Like he was going to get elevated to the next level, and we just haven't seen that over the end of 2022 and the start of 2023 yet.
But don't you think that that's always like the case with Finlay? They did it in 2018 with the US Championship with Jay, that each time they give Finlay a big match, even though he doesn't win, they make you think that they're going to push him. Yeah. And then it almost feels like people are hyping it. It's like, yes, we want David Finlay to do well. And then he sort of drops off face of the earth and we just don't see him.
I just want more for him, because he's very talented, and he seems to get more of a push for Strong, because I think I want to say it was either the Windy City Riot show when he got that big win in the 6-man over Jonah, when they were building up Jonah as like the beast, and he beats him with the shillelagh, and then he started using the shillelagh more often after that. So I'm hoping that, you know, this is a US show. They're going to push him hard and he gets the win here, even though this matchup feels like it should have been on the main show, but I understand they want to space things out and have some people watch the pre-show. So this is a match to kind of bring people in. We got John Elite with a very good question. How much fish could Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish? I'm going to say 4.
Yeah, I don't know.
7, maybe 7. I don't know.
Don't know. Nah.
Gonna go with a solid 4, because where's the lie? Let's talk about the main card for Battle in the Valley, and they're starting off with a very interesting matchup that features two feuds that I guess, well, a feud that's starting or gonna culminate during WrestleMania weekend, and a feud that's been cooking over in Japan, as I call this Team Romero versus Team Volador because of their rivalry in CMLL. We got Team Romero, which is Rocky Romero teaming up with Adrian Quest, Mascaril Dorado, and the Impact World Champion Josh Alexander to verse Team Volador Jr. with Volador Jr., Kevin Knight, the DKC, and Kushida. Like I said, Volador and Rocky Romero had one of the best matches over in Mexico this year, earlier for the welterweight championship, with Romero beating Volador Jr. They have a big 3-way hair matchup coming up in CMLL, while Josh Alexander will be defending the Impact World Championship against Kushida at Multiverse United. Only the Strong Survive, coming up on March 30th in Los Angeles during WrestleMania weekend. I'm going to start with Sonal here. Who you got, Team Romero or Team Volador Jr.?
I don't know, because I feel like there are some guys I'm maybe not as like well known with, but obviously a lot of them I know in New Japan or when we have Fantastica Mania. Yeah. Also, I want to put out really happy that Rocky's got a title. Like, yes, Rocky Romero, like that's amazing. I feel like Team Volador, just because of the names on it, like Kushida, you got Champion there, but I feel like Rocky won't get pinned. Definitely not. I just feel like it's just going to build on the storyline. And are any of these guys going on the Fantastica Mania shows?
Probably Volador Jr. and Rocky Romero out of the two, just to continue the feud off of what's been going on in CMLL and things of that nature. It'll be interesting to see who loses their hair in that particular match.
So I feel like that Impact might have it, but yeah, I feel like their team might lose, but I feel like it's just to build up for the whole feud that they've got going on.
All right, so you're going with Team Volador Jr. J News. Who you got?
I got all the pros winning. Anytime I see too many young lions on one team, they ain't winning a match, man. So that's the real. That's the real, man. I love Kevin Knight. You know me, man. The DKC, great spirit. That kid. Anytime I see him in the ring, great spirit, good energy when he's in the ring. But he just you know how people always say some folks don't have the it factor. Like he doesn't have it yet, right? He doesn't have it yet. So the DKC, being that Jet and the DKC are on that team with Kushida and Volador Jr., I give it to the team of Rocky Romero, the Impact World Champion, and of course, whoever else is on this team. Máscara Dorada. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The former Grand Metalik is on that team. So I was with what Sonal was putting down as far as the challengers kind of getting some momentum here in this tag team matchup. But even more, I get down with what J News said and Vala B saying it here in the chat. He says Team Romero easy. You got Josh Alexander. The other team has two young lions. I see the DKC and I'll say he's looking up at the lights here. So
I just looked and I went, oh, I forgot, because obviously I just saw Kushida, and then I saw Kevin Knight, who technically I think graduated during Super Junior and I didn't even think of DKC. And now you said this, I was like, oh yeah, my first choice probably was wrong, and I should probably have gone with the other team.
You can change it.
I'm changing it. The other team, my reasoning was fine, but the big thing, you're right, is the young lions. It's New Japan. You're not gonna have a young lion pin someone, or a team with a young lion not lose.
No, they love to pin those young lions. That's how they learn, is to get pinned, look up at the lights on big shows. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Team Romero. Maybe Josh Alexander getting the pin on DKC to further smooth out the New Japan and Impact relationship. We got Dustin, who says the main card feels like must-see event with no filler in it. This is the only multi-man matchup, and even that, like I said, has a lot of basically consequences for other matches and feuds with the Romero and Volador Jr., Kushida, and Josh Alexander. We got the good sister Maggie in the chat. Thanks for joining us, Maggie. Be on the lookout. Fightful Overbooked, the OC podcast that me and Maggie did this week, is going to be dropping soon. She says Romero deserves at least 14 titles. Rocky Romero is so awesome. When he was in New York, me and J News went to the Rumble on 44th Street show, and he was the one that hooked up the wrestling club, Victor Perry and the kids, the 6th grade kids at the school. He hooked them up with seats at the event. So Rocky Romero, such a big heart. I do agree. He deserves all the championships. And Dustin saying Romero should challenge Hiromu for the title this year. I'd be down for that.
I would be happy to see. I mean, I don't think he'd win, but I think he'd put on an amazing match.
I don't know if that would happen, but it would be like Sonal said, it would be an amazing match. But I think, with Rocky's schedule and what he's been doing as of late for New Japan in the US, I'm sure he's going to be scouting talent the rest of the year too. Yeah. So look forward. I think look into that as well. But yeah, if it happens, cool. I'm all for it. Like you guys, I'm all for it. Hiromu versus Rocky, sure. But he's the welterweight champ right now. So at the end of the day, he's got to defend that gold. And we'll see as to how it goes down over there.
Probably be bringing some talent from Mexico over to New Japan for maybe the best of Super Juniors. I would hope. Now we got our first championship matchup on this card for the Strong Openweight Championship. It's going to be Fred Rosser going one-on-one with the Bullet Club's own Kenta. Kenta won a 6-way match on New Japan Strong to earn this opportunity. Fred Rosser has been killing it as the Strong Openweight Champion. I think he has 7 successful defenses since beating Tom Lawler for the championship to become the second ever Strong Openweight Champion. Kenta is coming off a big loss in Osaka and the New Beginning in Osaka last week against Hiroshi Tanahashi. Does he bounce back, or is he going to be another name off the list for Fred Rosser's reign here? Start with you, Sonal. Who you got?
So obviously, we were talking about this on Ace Tekkers about our predictions for last week, and I said Kenta had to win. He had to beat Tanahashi because there's nowhere else to go from there. I guess now that he's lost, this genuinely is like another last chance to do. Like, he can't make the results in Japan. He can't make the results in America. It's almost like, what can he do? Like, Fred Rosser, amazing champion. And I feel now he's got enough defenses that he is already probably like historical champion, like amazing. But Kenta needs something. He can't now just be the guy who has amazing matches, loses, and does amazing post-match promos. He needs like results and titles to sort of cement that.
He's got to stop worried about selling books and worry about getting some
and
wins.
The cameramen and the cameramen in the back and their sausage fingers. He needs to stop worrying about that. Stop worrying about Yoshihashi and Goto. Focus on the titles. Get the win. That's all we want.
And considering he's like the biggest name in the Bullet Club that can still go to Japan, he needs this victory. So I agree with Sonal. I'm going with Kenta to become the new strong openweight champion. J News, who you got?
Kenta's been treated as a joke for the last 2 years in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yes.
I don't see that ending anytime soon. I don't see that ending anytime soon. I love Kenta. I've been a fan of Kenta since the mid-aughts at the end of the day. That's how long the man's been in the business. Well, before that, as a matter of fact. But he's been treated as a joke. And it's going to continue. I don't know who hates him. But this is not...
Gato. Yeah, I was about to say that. Gato don't like him for some reason.
Look, man. Block the hate, man. Fred Rosser's the man. Fred is the freaking man. I just... To keep the title on Fred for now, being that he's been such a big proponent of Strong and New Japan ever since his leave from the WWE and things of that nature, I think they're going to keep that title on Fred for the time being. Just from a political standpoint, they've got to find a way to get Kenta out of this goofball BS that he's been doing the last couple of years.
But the funny thing is, could he be wanting that? Like, he's had years.
I'm sure.
Of, the intensity matches, and now he's like, I'm just gonna enjoy myself. Don't want any pressure as like a big title. Just want to go out and have some fun. I feel like that might also be a thing. Like similar to Shinsuke in WWE, he said like he wouldn't go back to New Japan because he's just so stressed and he's living his life surfing, doing the odd show. I feel like Kenta might be at that point now.
Look, I don't disagree with you at all because Kenta lives in the States now. So at the end of the day, like him wanting to take it easy, the travel's enough stress as it is. You know what I'm saying? So having the stress of the matches, look how long it took him to come back after that hardcore match he had with Tanahashi last year or whatever. So it was just one of those things where he might be wanting to do the goofy shit. I don't like it because at the end of the day, I know what Kenta can bring to the ring, but this is what he wants to do. So it is what it is. Not to say that this match versus Fred Rosser is going to be a goofy match, but at the end of the day, I don't see him winning the Strong, the openweight championship here for Strong. And Fred to retain. I don't necessarily know what comes to the future of Kenta at this point. As like I told SP3 tons of times before, so no, I don't think like Kenta doesn't even need to be a part of the Bullet Club. Like he's his own entity, he's his own brand. So it's like, if he wants to go do goofy shit, go do goofy shit the Kenta way without the Bullet Club. I don't care.
Could you imagine him doing goofy shit in a tag team with Toriano?
Yes.
I'm just gonna do it.
Yes. Let's just go. Thank you. Yes. I'll be down for that. Just own it and just go for it.
That right to self. You got Toriano swinging with the corner pad, and Kenta pulls out the briefcase, the briefcase,
and his power walk across the ring
with his headband. LeBron took off the headband so Kenta could rock it. Let's go with the Strong tag team championships are going to be up for grabs as well. You got the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin versus the West Coast Wrecking Crew, Royce Isaacs and Jarrell Nelson. This one should be really good. Two very underappreciated, underrated tag teams here. The Machine Guns, a legendary tag team. So I'm gonna say with the Machine Guns, I want them to retain here, but I think this is gonna be a huge breakout matchup for the West Coast Wrecking Crew. Who do you guys know?
I have the same. Like, I don't really know much about the opponents, the MC, MG, but obviously, Motor City Machine Guns are like the name itself. It's historical. Even in New Japan, they have such a long history. So I feel like, yeah, you're right. It'll be a phenomenal match, and it will be the perfect showcase. And then maybe in the future, when they've had more matches and more people like me get to know who they are, that's when you can put the title on them, because they will be the perfect champions. Whereas at the moment, with New Japan Strong still growing, you need those big names that people know for like years ago, just to keep some sort of like, similar with Fred Russell, a big name at the top of the company.
Yeah, I could see this kind of be like the first matchup of maybe a couple between these two, maybe a series before the West Coast Wrecking Crew wins those titles. I know Royce Isaacs, he's been on our channel, but he just did an interview with Fightful's Spotlight podcast, and he basically said Team Filthy has been the crew, has been the main stable of New Japan Strong. As a long time New Japan Strong fan, J News, you know that more than anybody. Do you think this is the big win for the West Coast Wrecking Crew, or does the Machine Guns continue their reign?
Yeah, no big win for the West Coast Wrecking Crew here. Look, I've never been a fan of those guys. They've never done it for me. You know how much hatred I have for Team Filthy. It is not my love for Tom. I have no love for Tom Lawler in this group. None. Zero love for these guys. At the end of the day, my first interaction, or should I say my first viewing of Royce Isaacs, was in the NWA when he was teaming with what's his face, the British guy. I forget what his name is right now, but
damn it,
Camille's husband. I forget what his name is.
Tom Lattimore. Yes, he was a part of Nick Aldis's crew.
That's
Nick
right.
Aldis's stable. Yeah.
So you know, it's always been a style thing for me when it comes to watching them as a tag team. So I know that they mesh well, they have decent matches, but for whatever reason, they just don't hit for me. So at the end of the day, I think that the veterans, the men who have had classics in the ring, the Motor City Machine Guns, will win and retain here. Yeah, that's where I'm going with this.
Motor City. Yes, I think we're all going for the Machine Guns. Vala B with the super chat donation. Thank you so much, good brother. He says, you can't make me root against Motor City Machine Guns ever. One of those teams I'm for a forever fan, like Romeo is to Charlotte. Yeah, I mean, the Machine Guns, I want to see them all around the world. But yeah, I do agree with what Sonal said. They kind of need this type of established team to really put these titles on the map. They want it from Aussie Open, who I want to see more from them. You had the good brother Davis on Twitter saying that they haven't been booked as a tag team anywhere. We need to see them back. Like, what are we doing? New Japan, they are the team you need to beat Bishamon over in Japan, in my opinion. So
they got him in the New Japan Cup. That's so weird, man. I don't know what the hell's going on. Yeah.
Have you seen the bracket though?
Yeah.
I know it's obviously, but obviously Davis and then Ospreay are very like.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is exciting for me. As like someone who's watched Aussie Open for years and obviously watched Ospreay for years. I'm like, I never knew I needed to see Mark Davis like Dungzilla versus Ospreay more than I do now. I need it.
And then he could potentially verse Jeff Cobb in the following round. So
right.
Very interesting how that bracket is. We're going to talk more about that soon. But let's talk about the next match on the card. Your favorite, J News, Tom Lawler. He's going to go one-on-one with Homicide in a filthy rules match. No ropes. Anything goes. This is going to be like a blood sport matchup. If you've seen Homicide in blood sport, I guarantee we are going to see the fork. The fork is going to be coming out. I'm a longtime Homicide fan. I love Homicide. He's the reason to watch him win the Ring of Honor World Championship back at Final Battle 2006 was the first ever time I went to an independent show, my first ever Ring of Honor show. So a longtime Homicide fan, but it's a filthy rules match. It's New Japan in the U.S. I think Tom Lawler wins here. Who do you got, J News?
I mean, your pick makes sense, right? It makes relative sense to the structure of the show and things of that nature. But I will never, ever pick Tom Lawler to win a match. at the end of the day. 187 on your dumb ass, Tom Lawler. I pick Homicide straight up. New York all day. Let's go.
That's fair. New York brethren. So now who you got?
So I don't really know much about Homicide, but I'm similar with J News. I'm not a fan of Tom Lawler. Didn't really get the whole Team Filthy when I watched Strong. When he was in the G1, I didn't get it. Was like it just added to the blockade. I just wasn't great. So I guess out of like a process of elimination, I guess I want Homicide just because, yeah, I don't get Team Filthy. Like his feud with Zack Sabre Jr. with George Michael versus like
Boy George, yes.
Boy George. I think that was like the highlight of the things I saw from him. His style, his whole image, it just doesn't appeal to me.
He's very like quirky, dorkish with everything he does.
There's a matter of dork. There's quirkiness. There's sleaze. There's a certain filth is the right word, but it's not a good filth.
Yeah,
right.
It's like he's taken that word to be positive, but when I see him, I'm just like, no, not really.
Yeah, I feel all filthy. Oh, I'm the only one with the Team Filthy bandwagon. Come on, let it be known. Let's talk about NJPW World Television Championship is going to be up for grabs tomorrow night. You got Zack Sabre Jr. defending against LA Dojo graduate Clark Connors. This is probably Clark Connors' biggest singles match in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Zack Sabre Jr., man, he started off his World Television Championship reign with an absolute banger. Sonal knows how excited I was to talk about that Zack Sabre Jr. and Tomohiro Ishii match. So I'm very much looking forward to his second defense. Clark Connors had that breakout performance back at Forbidden Door last year in the U.S. Now he's here in San Jose against one of the best wrestlers in the world. Sonal, who you got?
Zach. I think it's like I love Clark Connors. Like you said, his breakout also in the Super Junior tag league.
Yeah,
like,
that too.
I love the idea that Zach is taking this title and almost making to what the Never title should be. He's giving the young guys. He doesn't care about divisions, especially considering Zach is one of the guys who basically has probably the size and stature of a junior, but is a fully fledged heavyweight. Clark Connors. I've seen him a lot more because he's been in Japan more than like Coughlin and stuff. Phenomenal. Like, cannot stop praising him enough. Him teaming with Taguchi was something absolutely beautiful.
Wild hips.
Wild hips, baby. Wild
I
hips.
feel like some young lions take a time to find who they are as a person, or they'll lose it, or things like that. But he perfectly managed to keep his essence as an amazing wrestler, but also find a bit of personality. I feel like Taguchi might just be like the key to this. He was similar with Wato. He manages to unlock this potential in young lions. So, of course, I see Zach retaining because it's only his second defense. And as the frontman of TMDK, he needs it. But I feel like Clark Connors is truly going to shine in this, and people are going to take notice there. People who are watching for maybe like Mercedes Moné are going to go, wow, the young talent in New Japan are phenomenal. And you know what? Forget NXT. It's all about the young lion system.
I love it.
For sure.
I love that. What do you got, James?
I mean, ZSJ wins. There's no doubt about that particular portion of it. But as Sonal clearly stated, Clark Connors, the wild rhino himself, right? It's a look, man. I hate to say it. I know it's not the PC thing to say, but I'm gonna drop this anyways, man. He's just a white frat boy turned up to 1,000.
I mean, if you see the Instagram post, you know, with all of them like Fredericks, Coughlin, even more. Yeah, he's like, I'm not gonna lie, but I know the stereotype and he fits it perfectly.
He is a wild frat boy turned up to 1,000 with a level of intensity that is unmatched. That kid can go. Like, that's not even a joke. I'm always blown away with how much freaking beer he intakes and the freaking body fat he has on himself. Like, goddamn, dude, like, how do you do it? But at the end of the day, it's gonna be a different style match. I'll say that. Between what's gonna happen between him and CSJ and what happened with CSJ and Ishii. Obviously, they're both intense competitors, Connors and Ishii, but the styles do differ a bit. More high impact on the Clark Connors side due to speed and things of that nature. So I think this is going to be a very fun match. That 15-minute time limit is going to go right to the brink, just like the Ishii match. And I'm sure ZSJ will win with one of the many Tekkers roll up pin combinations or whatever the case is, and it'll happen.
I feel like he almost though. I think after obviously the win against Ishii, I think he wants to win by submission. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want George Michael to tell him to use the Tekkers. He wants George Michael to say, "Use the submissions."
use the submissions. Don't use the Zack Driver. Use the Tekkers.
Don't use the Tekkers. Use the submissions.
I'm going. I'm going with ZSJ as well. I don't think it's going to get that close to the time limit because you can't do that type of match every time out. You have to have some type of difference. So I go with what Sonal saying that I think he wins with a submission, maybe at like the 13, 14 minute mark. But Dolores says you're spot on, J News. So that's all that matters. Next we got the match that I invited Sonal on just to talk about because the stakes could not be higher. Loser leaves New Japan Pro Wrestling. Not Japan, not the United States, New Japan Pro Wrestling. It is Eddie Kingston going one-on-one with Switchblade Jay White. These two men have been feuding all the way back since last summer on New Japan Strong, going back and forth. They had the tag team match at Rumble on 44th Street. Then recently on New Japan Strong, Eddie Kingston made the challenge to Jay White to verse him at Battle in the Valley, with Jay White accepting. Of course, Jay White lost a huge match at the New Beginning in Osaka, a loser leaves Japan match against Hikuleo, the same place in Osaka where he made his first matchup as a young lion, first singles match, and now he had his last singles match in Japan there in the same building, and now the stakes are even rose higher after Wrestling Observer Live yesterday. Both men were on the show. Tensions rose very, very high with Eddie Kingston telling Jay White to respect his elders, and he told him, he's like, I challenge you that if whoever loses cannot wrestle in New Japan Pro Wrestling. For Switchblade, he says Eddie Kingston can't wrestle a New Japan Pro Wrestling talent in a New Japan ring unless he axes him politely with no swearing. So that is the added stipulation against Eddie here. But Sonal, do you think this is it? This is the final match in New Japan Pro Wrestling for your boy, the Switchblade, Jay White?
I can't, speak to me again on Sunday and I'll probably just be like leaving him not in Japan is bad enough for me, but I don't know. It's one of the things that you try not to think about dirt sheets and the rumors and things, and obviously everyone's saying before the Hikuleo and Jay match that they were interested in both, so everyone said whoever lost that match is gone. But at least we had that added stipulation of loser leaves Japan.
Yeah.
I was like, chill, didn't it? You know what Jay's like. He always has some sort of thing where he leaves and then he comes back. He's done it several times before. But this seems more cement, more concrete, and that's what worries me. And I know everyone's on Twitter yeah, Jay's going, but in my heart I feel like I can never trust Jay.
But that's the character. That's the character. We're meant to not trust him.
Building everyone up, saying he's got nothing to lose. He might as well put his whole career on New Japan. I bet you even if he loses, he's going to turn up in Japan and he's like, he's going to turn up in DDT or Noah or something and find his way into New Japan that way. I just feel like although I've not watched Strong, so I don't know what's going on between him and Eddie Kingston. And even though Jay is obviously lost at Wrestle Kingdom, lost at New Beginnings, I feel like if he's going to go to somewhere like WWE or AEW, you don't want him to go on a loss. But I don't know. I think I can't think straight. I can't think logically with this match because it's I can't imagine Jay not being in New Japan. So Jay has to win, because if Jay doesn't win, I don't know what I'm going to do with all my millions of Jay White t-shirts and the fact that I basically started my New Japan YouTube channel because of Jay White. So
they're just trying to make this life tough for Sonal. That's what I think this is all about. New Japan Pro Wrestling got an issue with Sonal. They're they see the pictures you use and they're like, we can't copyright claim you, so you know what we're going to do? We're taking Jay White from you.
Gato throughout the past few years has been right, we see she's a dedicated Jay White fan. Let's send him to Bullet Club. Oh, she's still there. Right, let's have him not appear for a while. Wait, still Jay White? okay, he's gonna leave Japan. Oh wait, she's still. No, he's got to leave completely, you know, because we can't be having this anymore.
We're like cutting the cord. We're cutting the cord. We have another super chat donation here from Vala B. Thank you so much, good brother. He says, "You really think Jay is going to lose a loser leaves NJPW match to a guy who's not even contracted to NJPW? Get out."
Gato. He will do it. He
This
don't
is the
care.
comment. Exactly. And that's what I'm thinking with Sonal. Yes, I do. Eddie Kingston is going to win. I will not go against New York twice on this preview. I'm going for New York here. Eddie Kingston defeats Switchblade Jay White, and Switchblade Jay White goes to one of the major companies in North America. Either
Or he goes to DDT. For me, that's the only right decision that could happen. DDT or Noah. Otherwise, like, Jay White's on my list. I've got a list and he's going to be blacklisted. I refuse to watch him anymore. Gato will get his wish.
We went from her thinking about watching NXT Level Up to no, it has to be DDT because I'm already watching that. J News, who do you got? Loser leaves NJPW.
To quote a man by the name of Tom Campbell, finalement, this will be the final match for Jay White in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Sad to say, really sad to say. I never would have really thought it would have been Eddie Kingston to be the man to take him out.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is it, folks. This is it. You know, Lucchini ain't falling from the sky at this point. But at the end of the day, what's gonna happen is that Jay White will lose in such a way where we're all gonna be pissed off, as we should be, right? As we should be. We're gonna be pissed off at the way that he loses. He walks out. He'll cut a Jay White promo. He'll go in hot to wherever he's going because that promo is gonna be fire. That whatever promo he cuts after this match is over, that promo is gonna be fire. And then he'll walk on to, I don't know, Raw after freaking WrestleMania. God knows if he ends up on NXT. Who cares at this point?
Jesus, no, Lord, Jay, don't take the contract if they say you got to go to Orlando. Please don't. Please.
My friend, when I met with him and I was telling him about Jay White and he went, Sonal, he's going to Raw after WrestleMania. I went, no, that happens. It's your fault. And I'm going to stick that. You say he's going to go backstage and do a promo and go to WWE. No, he's going to go backstage after losing in the worst way possible. David Finlay's going to come out and find a way to get Jay back into New Japan.
There you go. Young lion.
So here's the thing. The only thing I can see, if Jay White does not go to the WWE, and if Jay White does win this match, right? The only thing I do see is that if he doesn't sign back with New Japan, is that he signs a deal with AEW. And then he continues his feud with Eddie Kingston on freaking TV on Dynamite. That's the only thing I can see happening if that goes that way.
If that means that Jay doesn't have to go to WWE, that's what I want to happen.
Yeah. Jay wins, but it continues on Dynamite.
See. So now it's like I'm willing to give AEW one more shot. If switch my
as long as they can take Jay White, as long as if they're the reason that Jay White doesn't go to WWE, I will tell you, I will watch AEW weekly. I will start doing videos about AEW just to say thank you to them for not sending Jay to WWE.
Man. My sister Sonal is having post Switchblade partum Switchblade partum.
What do I do? I mean, if he goes to WWE, then that's like, do I have to now, if he comes to the UK through WWE, do I have to do that? Am I going to get another meet and greet? I don't know. Like, it's just
gotta go to the O2. Go to the O2. Money in the Bank. Root for him at Money in the Bank this year.
I'll have to message WWE like, I never really watch you, but like I have a thing that if I ever watch Jay White live, I've got to meet him. So you need to make that happen.
Exactly. Maggie saying, I mean, Eddie can't get a win in AEW. Might as well get a win in NJPW. That's what I think. Like, he does get wins in NJPW. We were there when didn't he win he won that multi-man matchup when we went to the Rumble on 44th Street. So he does get wins in NJPW, it seems. Romeo saying, Meltzer saying WWE not even thinking about Jay White right now. Yeah, they said they're thinking about another major a free agent, which I'll let you know. It probably rhymes with Bodo Abuki.
But the
Man, listen.
That's not
Tell
gonna
you something.
help.
Tell you something about that man right there. Tell you something about the Golden Star. All right. First of all, if he touches WWE soil, I'll be the most pissed off wrestling fan on the planet. You know why? Because they don't treat Japanese wrestlers right.
Yeah.
I don't care what Shinsuke says. He's surfing and he's chilling.
But Kushida's proof of that as well. Like,
yes.
he came back to New Japan.
Man, all the way back to the time that they had, if I am not mistaken, I can be completely wrong off this, but I believe the great Sasuke made an appearance at WWE once at a Royal Rumble. And he was like taken out in the first 5 minutes or so in the early 90s or whatever case is. And then freaking Hakushi, you name them all. You name them all. All the Japanese talent that's ever hit WWE ground has never been treated correctly. So
you know, there are rumors that that WWE have been knocking on Tama Tonga's door, and like whereas it was just previously with Hikuleo, Tama's been open and been like, yeah, and I'm like, no, Tama, no.
You're like, don't do it, Tama.
I can't. I don't know why the WWE would be not, and this is not taking anything away from Tama. Tama's one of the coolest dudes on the planet, on a personable level and stuff like that. He's a great in-ring performer. I don't know why the WWE would want to have him on their roster. Tama, when it comes to promo work and things of that nature, there is a certain, let's say, energy that Tama brings on the mic that wouldn't necessarily rock with the WWE crowd. And I'm not too sure how, where the bloodline thing is going and how it's just a whole mess. So like Tama stay in New Japan, Jay White, brother, find some money, get the bag. It's like I've been saying for weeks. Go get the bag, right? Go get it. Yeah. But at the end of the day, just make sure he fits wherever he's going and that he's important. Because if he's fodder from the freaking cannon at this point, I'm not gonna care. I'm just not gonna care. Like, dude, make your money. I'm all about people getting that paper. But at the end of the day, man, if you're not important, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like my deal with the freaking House of Black, and that's another whole thing altogether. But yeah, man, Jay White, bro, listen, I love you, man, the boss man, I love you, but we got to do something.
We love boss man here. Frantic Girl saying Jay White said he is open to listen to AEW, WWE, and Impact Wrestling. I would not be down with Jay White going to Impact Wrestling. I'm sorry.
Not at this point. It's not the right place for established star like Jay.
Exactly. Bell saying, hey guys, been a minute. Welcome back, Bell. Saying Jay's losing, then maybe heads to WWE on the Raw after Mania. I'm sorry, guys. The best we can ask for with Jay White in WWE is him being the leader of Dollar Value Billet Club. I mean, the OC with Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, and then potentially feuding with AJ Styles, which I'll be down for. I'm here for that, but. Yeah, I don't think he has as high of a ceiling as him going to AEW, which potentially will lose their top heel in 2024, and Jay can usurp him and be the top heel of AEW in a year. So I'll be down for that.
And if he goes to AEW, he won't have to change his name because, as I've said to many people, if he goes to WWE, the switchblade might become the butter knife. And then, you won't.
He is going to lose some edge there, yes.
Like, you're not going to have the guy that everyone loves, the guy who, in like the space of 10 minutes, can swear like 30 times in a match. Like, he's not going to have the things that make him Jay White. But I'm not saying he needs to swear to do it, but he needs that freedom in what he does. And that sort of. Yeah.
That's what I was telling Sid that when we were doing the Osaka review show. I was like, if he doesn't get to be Jay White on WWE TV, there's just no purpose. I can give a crap less what kind of character he can get over. If it's not Jay White, I don't want it. I just don't want it at the end of the day. So yeah,
I'm with you. No one wants to see Kay Gray. Anyway, let's talk about the IWGP Women's Championship up for grabs. The matchup that sold out this building in San Jose, California, as Kyrie will make her second defense against the debuting Mercedes Moné. It was at Wrestle Kingdom 17. Sasha Banks became Mercedes Moné, debuting in NJPW, laying out Kyrie and making the challenge for this championship matchup matchup in San Jose. That led to all the tickets getting sold out for this show. They are now billing this as a double main event with the other matchup we're going to discuss here. But I mean, I'm just going to say it. Mercedes wins. LOL. I mean, I love Kyrie. I think that she could be a better champion or establish her more before this. They could have done it, but they didn't. I would love for her to continue her reign, but I see Mercedes getting the win here. 60-minute time limit. I don't see them going 60 here. J News, who you got?
So, originally I figured that Mercedes would win this match. That was my original thought process. I don't necessarily know what the end goal here is with her in New Japan. I don't know what it is. Is it just the star power? Because if it's just the star power, then she wins. But if they're gonna try to craft stories with her involved, her winning off the bat doesn't necessarily do much for anybody else outside of her, right? So I don't know. I'm gonna just say that I don't know who wins this particular match. It just depends on what New Japan wants to do from a story perspective. Box office at the end of the day, they were able to sell out the show, right? Because due to her name being added onto the event and all that stuff, which is great, right? But now that they're only going to be doing like just major events throughout the year here in the US, is she going to be spending time in Japan? Is she going to be going to Mexico? Because she does have a relationship with wrestlers in AAA currently right now. So at the end of the day, depending on her schedule and stuff like that, I don't know. I think Kyrie might retain here for storyline purposes, right? Not just because I don't feel like
that would be the dumbest move ever if New Japan
hear you.
did that shit. I'm sorry. This is rare that I say this ever on any channel. I totally agree with Kaden. The girl who walked out on WWE for bad booking would come to NJPW and lose immediately on the show she's responsible for selling out? That don't make any sense from storyline. However you want to finagle it, it don't make sense.
At the end of the day, kid, it's wrestling. So you just don't know. And it's Gato, son. Gato's booking. Gato's booking.
I love that time. That's her out for everything.
Gato is the reason. Any sort of shock thing, Gato knows how to he is the man responsible for Evil's double title reign. We don't know what to expect from him.
Yeah, man. Look, at the end of the day, the expectation is she wins. Will I be mad when she wins? No, I'm not going to be mad. What do you do from there? Outside of the fact that she's going to be the cornerstone,
she's gonna feud with a whole bunch of women in Stardom. She wants to feud with Azumi. She wants to verse Utami Hayashita. Cool. She wants to verse Julia. So she's gonna go. She's already scheduled for the big April show for Stardom in Yokohama. She's gonna be on New Japan, one of the New Japan's big shows this spring as well. She's already planned out all these. I think either the Cup Finals or Sakura. Either or, so I think one of those.
Here's my thing. This is where my whole driving mindset is and whatnot. If she's going to put the Stardom women's division on the map, sure, right? But if they're just gonna be dipping their toes in the water in this particular estimation, which is what New Japan's done before, I'm not for the shits at this point. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, give me full frontal mercy, like put her on everything. You know what I'm saying? Don't let it just be in between shows. Put her on everything, right? Battle in the Valley, she's the marquee, right? But after Battle in the Valley, she's got to be everywhere, son. She's got to be everywhere. Like she's got her own marketing team, so they can work that on that side. She's starting to post up sexy pics all of a sudden on Instagram and shit. So whatever works that way and all that crap, but she's got to be on everything. I can't not just see her at the Cup and a couple of months later at another Stardom show. She's got to be everywhere, son, because this is what they brought her in for, right? They brought her in as the face. They brought her in to launch Stardom, so she's got to be in our faces like The Rock on Instagram. That's what she's got.
Best comment I've seen so far. Gato has wounded J News one too many times. He's emotionally scarred.
Damn right. Damn right he has. Damn right he has.
And we have a super chat donation here from Mike from Indeed. check out the show. It's a great show. If you like independent wrestling over on Fightful Overbook, thank you so much, brother, for this super chat donation. He says, hey, everyone, just wanted to drop by and show some love. Thanks for the ear candy while I'm working this afternoon. Y'all are excellent. Mike, if you need me to call your boss and get you off early, say that you're sick, don't worry, I got you for this super chat donation. We appreciate that. Sonal, who you got, Mercedes or Kyrie? Basically, the smart money, or has Gato wounded you as well?
So don't hate me, SPG. I'm with J News here.
God, what is going on?
Yeah.
You right. So you probably like know how I feel about the idea of bringing in a name to be a name. Similarly, I've liked that when they've brought, like when they even recently they've had Kenny win the US title. Where is Kenny? Where is, for a second, like I think earlier in the month, I forgot who held the US title.
Yes. Thank you.
Kyrie is a top name. The booking will all depend on what Gator wants. Does he want Mercedes to win, and like Jane, you say, just be that name that is there like every few months, and who I'll get to next month and go, wait, who is the champion again? Or are they gonna give the fans what the women's division deserves, what Stardom deserves, and someone who is gonna respect them? Not someone who's coming in thinking they're a big name, bigger than the Stardom wrestlers already, and like, I'm WWE, I can do what I want. I'm going to do a Carl Anderson and turn up every like 3 months and defend. That is not what it needs. And I think I saw in the comments somewhere, someone said, well, if Mercedes wins, who's going to beat her in 3 months? Are they going to have anyone beat her? Because if she wins straight away, it's almost like New Japan see her as this bigger entity than the IWGP women's title. So sorry, SP3, I'm with Jay News. Like, it's all going to depend on what Mercedes is willing to give to the division and to wrestling. Does she want an easier life, or is she willing to put in the graft traveling from America to Mexico to Japan, fighting everybody that is going to come? Or is she going to be one of those trophy champions who you just see will be big draws for big shows, but really we're not going to see? And dedicated New Japan fans just gonna go, she's just another champion that we don't see.
And we got Romeo who says, if Kyrie retains, there goes all of Mercedes' steam and hype, and I would think she's returning to WWE much sooner rather than later. We got Dolores who says Moné's wins this match, but it has a lot riding on it because there is no real potential things after, because she hasn't wrestled anyone. All I know is that Mercedes teased her and Kyrie on her Instagram, and then it happens here. The next thing she's teased since then is her and Mickie James. And you got the NJPW versus Impact show, WrestleMania weekend, back in California, her neck of the woods. I think Mickie James comes out after Sasha wins and makes the challenge, and we have champion versus champion at Multiverse United on March 30th. That's my call.
So here, so with you saying that, right? It leads into one of the points that I made earlier. If she's going to be everywhere and she's going to be front and center, that's fine. I don't have a problem with her winning, right? That means she works in February, she works in March. Then that means she's going to work in April because she's got to be in the Cup final, right? At the end of the day. So that means we see her all the time, right? She's the face. She's got to be the promotional billboard and everything else in between. I'm okay with that. But like to Sonal's point, if we see her every 3 months, what the fuck is the point? You know what I'm saying? So that's my whole thing about it.
I think we are going to see her more than every 3 months, but I did not expect this much debate over this matchup. I thought this was a foregone conclusion. I know. I'm blaming Gato too.
He's given us champions that we've seen every like 4 or 5 months that you forget who's holding the title. I'll even put back to when Moxley won the US title,
yes,
and everything. I don't want another paper champion that I don't see. Like.
But this is the thing. I'm with Mike here. Mercedes keeps saying she wants to go everywhere on a world tour. Might as well bring the IWGP title with her. It established the title across the world.
She says a lot of things. It's like a lot of things. She says a lot of things, and whether she's going to stick to that is another thing. She could easily say, I'm going to go here, there, and everywhere. And then in like a month, she's like, but I'm getting paid. I might as well just not do anything.
It's like, I got a documentary coming out. I got a movie coming out.
I'm getting paid enough for this one event. I don't have to work for the next 2 months. I mean, I know I said I was going to, but I've got the title now. They can't really get rid of me.
This is true. But
I want to pinpoint something right before we go. Frantic World said he needs Mercedes versus Jade Cargill. On no planet do I want to see that match. On no planet. On no planet.
damn,
Zero.
hey dudes,
Zero.
damn.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Jeez.
Sorry,
what
man.
Are we doing here?
I will agree to disagree with you here respectfully. Absolutely not.
Respectfully.
Absolutely
I
not.
feel like me and Jay News feel like the biggest Mercedes Moné haters
Yes,
in
yes.
the world.
Oh
Right?
man, we need people to share this clip. So put it on Twitter. So all the Sasha stands. J News don't even have a Twitter, so it's all gonna be on Sonal.
No. Well, this is. I want to just say this is nothing to do with Mercedes. This is all to do with just my bad experiences with champions not being there in the past few years in New Japan, like Kenny recently, Carl Anderson, Moxley. For me, as someone who's a massive New Japan, I like seeing the talent who stay there, who put their effort in. I like seeing them get the results. If Mercedes Moné does that, if she is there all the time, I will happily say she can have the title. But as someone said, yeah, Gator has given me emotional damage as he's given Jay News emotional damage. I don't trust him. And with Mercedes, a name like her, I don't have high hopes.
I don't. I agree with Mike. I'd rather see Mercedes versus Jamie Hayter.
Give me that all day.
And Romeo said, "What's my reasoning behind as to why I don't want to see Jade Cargill versus Mercedes? Easy. Botch Fest 2023. I don't need that in my life. We don't need that.
Jade hasn't botched anything. What are you talking about? No. Jade is very improved, and I believe Sasha Banks gave us some of the best Nia Jax matches. I'm sure she can get a great match out of Jade Cargill.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. We're bringing that up now.
Yes, I burned that up. I brought that. She's not like most girls, and her matches is not like most matches.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't come on here thinking that the most passionate that we'd all be is about this match, and that we'd have like a wall drawn between us.
Exactly. The line has been drawn in the sand. I'm with the Mercedes stands while y'all are against them. Let's talk about the main event. Maybe we can get back on the same page here for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Kazuchika Okada goes one-on-one with Hiroshi Tanahashi, one of the greatest rivalries in not just New Japan Pro Wrestling history, in all of pro wrestling history. This will be the 16th time these two men have gone one-on-one. Their career record is 7 wins for Okada, 5 wins for Tanahashi, and 3 draws. The last time these two men faced for the top prize in New Japan Pro Wrestling was all the way back in May 2018, when Okada broke the record set by Tanahashi for the most successful title defenses as IWGP Heavyweight Champion. This is their first time for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, their first match since September 2021. A lot at stake here. A lot of people are calling this the last big-time championship matchup for Tanahashi. Jay News, who you got?
Whatchamacallit? Okada for the win. I'm not too sure how the match is gonna go. The comedic side of me just wants to make sure that Tana has new teeth. But outside of that,
list that up.
outside of that, that's Okada wins. It should be a banger of a match at the end of the day. Like I've said before in previous shows, Tanahashi's one of the rare wrestlers in pro wrestling history that can really get people emotionally tied into a match just with his in-ring ability and how he tells stories in the ring. Tana's just that good, man. And at the end of the day, I expect him to bring that same fervor, energy, and fighting spirit as he always does in a match versus Okada. I want to see more of Dick Okada in this show, so hopefully we get more of that flavor of Okada on this particular match as well. But yeah, Okada wins here because he's got to go on and do what he's got to do with the rest of the 2023. So that's about it. But what about you, Sonal? What's your thought process on this match?
So happy. So I know everyone going into this, we spoke on Ace Tekkers as well. We said that it had to be a big name from like AEW or something. But you know what? When I watched Osaka and Okada called out Tanahashi, I was like, yes, give me this again, especially considering that he called him out when he had no teeth. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I feel like Jay News is right. It's going to be a banger of a match. Like, it is going to be phenomenal. It is the perfect, because you've got a lot of matches on the card that have got people from different companies and stuff, but at the core of it, we have a amazing New Japan match headlining a huge main New Japan show with two of the best of New Japan. And yeah, similar, because before you actually said Jay News about obviously the villain thing and the heel thing that Kiyomi has done with Okada, I was like, oh, this is going to be a nice match. You know, Okada and Tanahashi are besties now. It's all going well. But yeah, I mean, we saw it with Shingo versus Okada. The crowd booing him because obviously he was doing a bit of a dick, which we've not seen from Okada for a long time. So I think that's going to be the fun bit. Tanahashi's maybe going to go into it thinking, it's going to be a nice match. Me and my bestie Okada, like JY brought us together. Now we're like the top besties in the world. And then Okada's going to do something and Tanahashi's going to go, shit. Like, who knows? Tanahashi might have his teeth back in and Okada might knock him back out again. I don't know, but I know that a lot of people are also saying, obviously, Okada's going to win. I agree with Jay News. That Kiyomiya might show up to this possible, because obviously Okada came to
I don't know about that.
Show. I don't know. I feel like that's like we're going a bit too far here.
Yeah.
But I feel like, going into the Kiyomiya Okada match, we need show us this fire and this evilness from Okada. We've not seen it in a very, very long time. But yeah, it'd be hilarious if Tanahashi does win. I mean, we've seen him shock people before. And especially with the whole thing that Okada said, like, it's your last chance to challenge. Gato, isn't it?
If he's not tired, you could come face me in Battle of the Valley, he told him.
We'll see how Gato's feeling with the booking.
I think we're going to see more heel Okada, and yes, I got Okada winning as well, but I need him to heal it up because he needs to kind of take that top villain spot now that it looks like Switchblade is on his way out. We need more of this dickish Okada.
I know it's a weird thing, but to have it, could we have Okada dye his hair black? I don't know why. I feel like the blonde hair just signifies like babyface Okada. I feel like we need a big, like we saw it slightly at Wrestle Kingdom. He has the black trunks now. I feel like if he just goes like black hair, we can 10 out of 10 have like proper heel Okada. I know it's weird saying hair color changes it, but
that makes all the sense.
That makes sense because when he lost the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, we had red hair balloon Okada. So
I saw that live. That was the first ever New Japan show I saw live in England, and my mum knew nothing about New Japan. And all I said to her, I was like, "Oh yeah, this guy gonna come out with red hair and a balloon, and he's kind of crazy at the moment." And Okada's now my mum's favorite wrestler, but at the time she didn't like him because she was like, "Sonal, you just told me he was crazy." And I was like, "Because the hair color, and the balloon." And I feel like with Okada, the style he goes for, the hair, really does help him become a character. And yeah, heel Okada, give us black hair again.
All right,
I am with it. Dirty blonde Okada at the very least. Give me that.
I want to quickly answer something here. Water Schwani, with his comment earlier.
Yes.
He doesn't understand the reasoning behind wanting Kyrie to win over Mercedes. Here's the reasoning, son. We don't like paper champions. That's the reasoning behind the whole diatribe. We don't like paper champions. I don't necessarily know where you misunderstood what was going on.
We don't know if Mercedes is going to be a paper champion. You're assuming a lot.
But it's history. It's just sort of history, isn't it?
We get it that Kyrie's also a paper champion. We get that also. We don't like that shit either. We want someone else to take the damn belt and represent it on a more frequent basis. That's the point. That's the reasoning.
Before we get in even more trouble with the Sasha Mercedes sads,
come on, bring it on, son. Bring it on. Bring the heat, brother. Bring the heat.
I'm scared to tell Sonal. You can share where everybody can follow you on social media.
I feel like it's just there now. I'm seeing loads of Sasha haters. Please don't hate me. It's not Sasha. It's Gato.
Thank you so much for joining us, Sonal. Please let the people know where they can follow you on social media and everything you got going on.
You can follow me on social media at WrestleInn_chat. If you're a Sasha stan, please don't hate me. You can find me on YouTube at Sonal's Life. I just posted a video yesterday before the whole announcement, looking at Jay White's entire career in Japan. So look out for that. Obviously, you can find me with SP3 on Ace Tekkers. But yeah, follow me on WrestleInn_chat where you can be the first to know about all my videos. And again, please, if you're a Sasha stan, don't come after me.
She's like, please don't come after me, please. Jay News, let the people know where they can follow you, sir.
On the Instagram only, _JONJY. because I'm not on the Twitter machine. That's not my thing. I don't even do Facebook that often. I'm just there to have an account because I've had it since college. But yeah, for all the Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné stands, I don't hate her at all. I just I don't like the premise of what's going on and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if you want to bring the heat, bring it on. I don't give a flying fuck.
So give the heat to him, not me.
Give the heat to him.
Yeah.
Go on Instagram and give the heat to him.
Don't bother the lovely Sonal. Don't even bother with SP3. Holler at your boy.
He wants the heat. He wants the heat. He is Mr. True Hill Heat. Oh, you can follow me on the Twitter machine at True Hill SP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at True Hill Heat. Go over and subscribe to True Hill Heat Sports. I am putting the link in the chat because we're about to go live over there with True Hill Heat Check, talking about all things NBA All-Star Weekend. Me and Chris G will be doing a very special NBA All-Stars 2023 draft and preview, talking about Giannis' injury from yesterday as well. So go over and subscribe, hit the link, and join us over there. We're going live in about maybe like 5 minutes. You can also check us out at twitch.tv/True Hill Heat Gaming. Last night we had Blunt Impact number 107, Chris G, Ness, and the Negro Buck Dick Jackson over there. So check it out. If you like what we did here, check out our preview of the Elimination Chamber, which is also tomorrow, and join us live tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, for our WWE Elimination Chamber and NJPW Battle in the Valley watch-alongs. Before that, at 11:05 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow, we go live, True Hill Heat 213, talking about this week in wrestling, giving our final previews for Battle in the Valley and Elimination Chamber. It will be myself, Miss Chrissy Love, and Top Guy JJ. If you like more New Japan content, you can check out me and Jay News talking about the new beginning in Osaka from earlier this week. So go over and check that out as well. And I believe Romeo in the chat said we got more content coming because tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time, Friday Night Warriors, they're going to be doing a special watch along for SmackDown and everything going on in wrestling. And Dolores says, Sonal J News, how can anyone hate you? We don't hate them. You can't hate them.
We love Dolores at the end of the day. Dolores is the best.
But thank you so much to Sonal for joining us. Thank you, J News. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. This has been our NJPW Battle in the Valley preview. We are